Welcome back, everybody, to Chasing Me Podcast.
Hi.
Today, we want to talk about action, taking action in our own lives
Yeah.
to get to where we want to be.
How do we take action? Yeah. And what that kind of means and looks like in our lives. So I'm going to have Alex start this one off because she made me start last time. But Alex, I really want to know how, when you're maybe in these ruts or you feel like you're missing a little bit of that motivation that we talked about last week, what are those steps? What are those actionable things that you do to get you towards those goals or keep on track? Like what does those actions look like for you?
Okay. I am probably going to sound like a broken record because I'm probably sure I've said this in every single episode.
We love it.
We have recorded so far. So just to make sure that you were listening and or heard me the first time, I really like meditating. If I get back into meditation, I start at night and then I work myself up to do it during the day. I get myself to walk and or at least get outside. And then I really try to listen to something motivational. Other people's self-help books, it doesn't really matter. Like I can listen to the book, I can read it, I can watch a YouTube video that's just inspiring. Even movies, like inspirational movies, that like somebody achieved their goal from when they were like so young. I'm always like, I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it, you know? And I think between all of those things, it's just like a feeling and like a gut feeling. In order to take action on those things, though, I definitely create a list, whether that's in my head or on paper. I try to definitely have bullet points in my day that I'm like, okay, I want to wake up feeling this way. And how am I going to wake up feeling that way? I'm going to get to bed by a decent hour, and then I'm going to get X amount of sleep. And I always try to look to my past self and when I was at that best part of my routine and be like, okay, I want to get back there. What are the easiest steps that I can make to get me close to that? Because typically that helps me create bigger actions and better actions in my day-to-day life. That would be mine. Tell me about yours.
So something that was similar when you were talking was this note about when we say taking action, sometimes for me that means like physically taking action. And I live so much of my life in my head and planning and thinking through every scenario out of the book. But what I realized is I started running again, and that small act of physically just, if it's for you, because you enjoy walking right now, if that's your thing, that's your action. Like get your body moving, sleep, so you can have a clear mind. Maybe write down some of those really important goals. And then physically moving are the things that help me be clear of mind and body to start towards those baby steps that we previously talked about creating to make those big goals not seem so far away. Mm-hmm. And I think that physical taking action part is where my start lies, is because I spend way too much time in my head planning. I plan. I think everything through, even though I know it's never going to end up the way that I ever planned. But because I think it's like I'm trying to prove to myself that it's possible before I even start. Okay. But I know I can't. Like, if I put my mind to anything, I can do it. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that about myself. It's like I just haven't had anything to fight for.
Do you feel like self-talk at all plays an effect your action?
Oh, 100% for me.
Okay.
Well, I think we've touched on this on a previous episode about how I talk to myself. I'm pretty sure I rambled for a very long time. But there's a part of me that recently I have like, I fight for things. Like if I'm clear about like what I want, I will fight. I am a fighter. I don't have anything to fight for right now in my life. Because I'm not clear with what I want to do. But once I get that thing, oh, Lord help anybody who tries to get in my way. Like I feel that to my core, which is interesting as someone who talks very negatively about myself in my own mind. Like I even wrote that down. I journaled one time.
You did?
I journaled.
Did you like
in high school. It was more of just like a thought and a feeling as I was like
That's
experiencing
fine. I love it.
And that was literally what I wrote down. It's like, I'm a fighter. I just don't have anything to fight for right now. Or like, I just don't have something to fight for. And it's like, the next one was like, when did I lose that thing to fight for?
It feels like a poet, like a poetry. Like it does.
I wish I had my little book with me. I usually carry it with me. It's probably in my bag somewhere, but there was a couple of days where I was just like on this, like in those, when I feel something moving me like that, I try to write it down.
Mm-hmm.
But so for me, that negative talk is really important because it does teach me something about myself, but I spend too much time in it. So taking the actual actions is what's important for me. Yeah. And then categorizing. I mentioned this a little bit too, where I don't do, I can't just do one thing. Like I realize this and I feel like I should just embrace it versus trying to fight it. If I'm on a self-improvement journey, I'm going to self-improve every aspect of my life and not just like my career or not just my living situation. No, I am like here, these other 7 things. So I was telling Alex, I actually wrote down, or I started.
Yeah.
I use this platform Notion. And what I did is I broke down my, like every kind of big bucket aspect of my life that's important to me. And I did this back in December, which is funny because I wanted to see how drastic I could change my life in a year. Like it's just like the proof of compound interest is kind of what I love that theory, or it's not a theory, it's a fact. Like compound interest is a thing. And that book that I showed you a couple nights ago, or like last week, it's The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, is a book I have like hundreds of tabs in. It's highlighted, it's color coded. Like I don't even know what. I've read that book multiple times, and each time I find something new. But it's all about taking action and how your actions compounded over a period of time gets you from like this failure curve, or the bottom, the failure, to a success curve. And then from there, you know exactly what you did to get back on this, like survival. They call it survival. Sorry. Failure to survival. Why do you not continue to sustain those things that got you from failure to survival to get you to success? We go through this failure, survival, and that's that roller coaster ride you feel all the time. It's because we get comfortable and we get like, yeah, why? Like, why do we do that? So Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, highly recommend. I've read it numerous times and I quote it probably like once a month, I swear. But it's hard to, it is sometimes difficult to stay on that. Mm-hmm. But what I did was I broke out my life into these categories. I'll read it real quick. And again, I did this in January, and I wanted to see how much I could change my life in a year's time. So I did home and living environment. I did finances, partner/relationships, physical health, family and friends, career, and then mental health. And currently I only have 3 out of the 7 that are in progress. And I think that's what's important, is that even though I've kind of outlined these things that I want to try to work on this year, I don't have the capacity to do them all at the same time, to start them all at the same time. So what I've tried to do is the ones that are in progress are like my home and my environment. I moved, I did the things at the beginning of the year, and I kind of outlined like what I wanted, how and the steps I took to get there. So I'm trying to document that process, my mentality as I go through it. So that's a cool thing I'm working on. But I get caught up in the mundane day-to-day stuff. I forget that I'm even doing it. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I was like, oh yeah, I wrote those things down at the beginning of the year. Let's go look at them. And then I take a moment, I look at them, and I can review them. So it helps me take action on those. Like whatever I'm thinking about at that time or where I feel stuck, I can look and be like, yeah, Erica, this was your focus this year. It can change, but this is what you thought you wanted.
I love it.
Stay true to that or try to. So
yeah, understand that that's what you're working towards.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I recently was talking to my friend Rob, and we were just talking about like, just understanding like bigger long-term things, right? Because if you've lived a life once and if you've already accomplished all the things that like you thought you would accomplish, right? Like I'm personally not there, but like I think for him he is. And just understanding all of that and then I was like, well, I think you should just break down like the next 3 months, what do you want? The next 6 months, what do you want? The next year, what do you think? Right. And I think it's similar to what you did for yourself, but in a more like smaller chunks.
Yeah. Because I haven't achieved the things that he has. Like we're not at that point of our lives yet. But I think it's interesting how no matter where you're at in your life. So I had this conversation with someone also about when are you just happy with where you're at versus always trying to strive for something more. I'm kind of going on a side note here, but it relates to that. It's like, why there's a balance there between being like proud, being, a little bit satisfied and like proud of yourself for what you've achieved, what you've done, what he's probably done in his life for the age that he is. But then we get caught up and like we still get stuck where it's like, I feel like we always want more. People just say you want more, but it's not wanting more. It's just like, I feel like life, you start dying if you don't keep progressing a little bit in your life. So like, where's that balance between happiness and, satisfaction with what you've achieved, but also still wanting to grow as a person?
Yeah, it's that growth mindset that we were talking about last episode. Yeah. And it's actually really interesting that you say that because I feel like I would know what I would want to do if I just had all the time in the world. Or like things.
Wait,
like I
feel
do you
like
mean? Like, I don't know, like let's say you accomplish your financial goal, you accomplish your family goal or relationship goal, you accomplish your career goal, and you're kind of left in this, like, okay, what next? Like, there's mental health, yes, but like, I mean, there's only so many things that you can do to really like maintain that. And then there's like the other aspects. So like, what else are you going to do with your life? If career is not one of them, if relationship is not one of them, those tend to be the two main pillars that lead, that lead people to, I think, towards the later end of their life. Mm-hmm. But let's say you do accomplish those two things very early on. Like, what would you do?
But that's the thing. It's always evolving. So the way, like my example is, this is what I want to achieve like this year. This is not like I want to have this much money for the rest of my life. Do you know what I mean? Like this is my small baby steps.
I'm saying big picture, not small. Yeah. Big picture. Think like 10 years from now, you accomplish everything.
But that's not possible. Like there's always going to be that next step. Like,
but let's say she doesn't want to accept the fact that she can get there.
No, because that like,
no, but
Erica 31 is chasing Erica, say 40. Erica 40 is chasing Erica 50.
No,
Erica
I understand.
50, you know what I mean?
I know you're always going to chase the better, like the older you.
The next
but
version.
This point is getting lost.
No, I get it. I'm just fighting it. I just love it.
You don't want it. You don't want anything to do with it. Okay, I understand. It's fine.
No. So you're asking like, what would I do next?
Yeah. If career is not one of them.
Okay. If career is not one of them. Okay.
If relationship, you have it.
Okay.
And it's not one of them.
Okay.
What would you do?
Well, I think it goes back to a couple episodes ago. We talked about like if we like giving back and like gratitude is, I think is when we were talking about gratitude and giving back. We were talking about like what we would do. Like if I had a bunch, like if I came across wealth, or I achieved those goals, you know, whatever, I would give back to people. Like I would find a new trajectory for this newfound success or this newfound like position in my life.
Okay. I like it.
I hope that that
answers it. Yes.
Because once you achieve a certain, like maybe the family example, it's like, I would just want to mentor the next generation. Like I would want to make sure that my actions doesn't screw up your future.
Okay.
In whatever shape or form. I was having a conversation today with someone at work about how the boomer generation has ruined, like, has made it very difficult for younger generations because they worked really hard, but all their jobs have now, all the jobs that they kind of started created are now being offshored to all these other foreign countries. And like basically how they came about their successes has actually been a detriment to ours and the environment that we're in. So I just want to make sure my actions do not traumatize the next generations.
But can't you say that is the case no matter what?
Oh yeah. That's our generations right now going through the workforce. We are laying the foundation of what's to come after us. That's all it is. It's like, we're just passing off our problems.
We're taking action for the next generation. If it's good or bad, we don't know.
But that's the thing.
But
you don't know. No one knows. No one knew that the Industrial Revolution would create all this, you know, economic stimulus. And then at that point, countries became closer and people were traveling quicker and shorter distances. Goods were being transported so easily, and commerce was happening. And
you really know your history,
which sounds like a great thing. It is. It was such a great thing. I think it's such a great thing. But long term from that and where we've come since the beginning of it, I think we've lost sight of its original purpose. And now it's become this like money grab for like nations. And anyways, that's a whole nother.
It's okay.
7 episodes.
She knows her history. That is something that we know now. I did not realize how much you just had on the tip of your tongue.
Oh, it's because it was front of mind. Anyways, taking action.
Getting back to the main point.
Yeah.
So
our actions do influence.
What?
I said our actions do it. The point is that our actions do influence our generations and generations to come as well. So,
yes. Speaking of generations, hopefully multiple generations of people are watching our podcast right now. And if so, how would you advise them to take action in their day-to-day life?
That's a tough question. How would I advise them to take action in their day-to-day lives? I would say right now I'm inspired to try something new. So if you feel like you're at this point in your life where you've achieved the things you set out. You have a house, white picket fence, some kids, some, they're all in college or graduated, whatever. Try something new. Go to a foreign country, experience a different culture. Do something that you really couldn't imagine yourself doing. And same maybe with someone that might be younger, or even us, like trying a new hobby.
We do that a little too often, but yes.
Putting ourselves out there, being vulnerable. I think this world in general is just missing a lot of love for each other, and giving that back to people in whatever form that is, I think it's something beautiful that hardly anybody does anymore.
So take action by self-care as well as self-love for others.
Yes.
Or other love. I don't know. That didn't make any sense. I'm so sorry. But love in general, you can take action in that way. You can take action traveling, experiencing new things. I think also by putting yourself first sometimes.
Yeah.
Start your day with an intention is taking an action, right? An intention meaning it could be a goal for that day. It could be the smallest of goals of just eating healthy, maybe, or saying I love you to a loved one, right? Like connecting with somebody. It could be so small or so big. It could be a career action. It could be reaching out to somebody new that's in your work community and taking action that way by making a network of connections that you didn't recognize that you could actually possibly have one day. So there's a lot of action to be taken in the world, and I think that it's very exciting, and have a growth mindset with it. Don't think of it as a negative. Definitely understand that you have an opportunity to make your life what you want, exactly how you want it. It's a matter of getting out of your own way and not letting fear pull you away from that. And that's all I had.
I agree 100%.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And we hope that you take action. And if you do, leave a comment down below. If you're watching us on YouTube, let us know what actions that you've taken in this past year, or maybe today after watching this, what you are going to do. So we would love to hear it. We would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching us.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.